I'm Jeremy. Today's day 220 of reading. Today I'm reading Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Let's get started. We're on page 89. We had 5 galleons for the footing one, then, shall we? Mr. Weasley looked down helplessly as Ludo Bagman whipped out a notebook and quill and began jotting down the twins' names. Cheers, said George, taking the slip of parchment Bagman handed him and tucking it away into the front of his robes. Bagman turned most cheerfully back to Mr. Weasley. Couldn't do me a brew, I suppose? I'm keeping an eye out for Barty Crouch. My Bulgarian opposite number's making difficulties, and I can't understand a word he's saying. Bart'll be able to sort it out. He speaks about 150 languages. Mr. Crouch, said Percy, suddenly abandoning his look of poker-stiff disapproval and positively writhing with excitement. He speaks over 200. Mermish and Gobbledygook and Troll. Anyone can speak Troll, said Fred dismissively. All you had to do is point and grunt. Percy threw Fred an extremely lasting look and stroked the fire vigorously to bring the kettle back to the boil. Any news of Bertha Jorkins yet, Ludo? Mr. Weasley asked as Bagman settled himself down on the grass beside them all. Not a dicky bird, said Bagman comfortably, but she'll turn up. Poor old Bertha. Memory like a leaky cauldron and no sense of direction. Lost. You take my word for it. She'll wander back into the office sometime in October, thinking it's still July. You don't think it might be time to send someone to look for her? Mr. Weasley suggested tentatively as Percy handed Bagman his tea. Barty Crouch keeps saying that, said Bagman, his round eyes widening innocently. But we really can't spare anyone at the moment. Oh, talk of the devil! Barty! Old Wizard had just apparated at their fireside, and he could not have made more of a contrast with Ludo Bagman. Sprawled on the grass with his old wasp robes, Barty Crouch was stiff, upright, elderly man, dressed in an impeccably crisp suit and tie. The parting of his gray hair was almost unnaturally straight, and his narrow toothbrush mustache looked as though he trimmed it using a slide rule. His shoes were very high polished. Harry could see at once why Percy idolized him. Percy was a great believer in rigidly following rules, and Mr. Crouch had complied with the rule about Muggles dressing so thoroughly that he could have passed for a bank manager. Harry doubted even Uncle Vernon would have spotted him for what he really was. Pull up a bit of grass, Barty, said Ludo brightly, patting the ground beside him. No, thank you, Ludo, said Crouch, and there was a bite of impatience in his voice. I've been looking for you everywhere. The Bulgarians are insisting we add another 12 seat to the top box. Oh, is that what they're after? Said Bagman. I thought the chap was asking how to borrow a pair of tweezers. Bit of a strong accent. Mr. Crouch, said Percy breathlessly, sunk into kind of a half-bow that made him look like a hunchback. Would you like a cup of tea? Oh, said Mr. Crouch, looking over at Percy in mild surprise. Yes, thank you, Weatherby. Fred and George choked into their own cups. Percy, very pink around the ears, busied himself with the kettle. Oh, I've been wanting a word with you, too, Arthur, said Mr. Crouch, his sharp eyes falling upon Mr. Weasley. Ally Basher's on the warpath. He wants a word with you about your embargo on flying carpets. Mr. Weasley heaved a deep sigh. I've sent him an owl about that just last week. If I've told him once, I've told him 100 times. Carpets is defined as Muggle artifact by the Registry of Prescribed Charmable Objects, but will he listen? I doubt it, said Mr. Crouch, accepting a cup from Percy. He's desperate to export it here. Well, they'll never replace brooms in Britain, will they? Said Bagman. "I think there's a niche in the market for a family vehicle," said Mr. Crouch. "I remember my grandfather had an Axminster that could seat 12, but that was before carpets were banned, of course." He spoke as though he wanted to leave nobody in doubt that all his ancestors had abided strictly by the law. "So, been keeping busy, Barty?" said Bagman breezily. "Fairly," said Mr. Crouch dryly. "Organizing portraits across 5 continents is no mean feat, Ludo. I expect you'll both be glad when this is over," said Mr. Weasley. Ludo and Bagman looked shocked. "Glad? I don't know when I've had more fun. Still, it's not though we haven't got anything to look forward to, eh, Barty? Eh? Plenty left to organize, eh?" Mr. Crouch raised his eyes as Bagman. "We agreed not to make the announcement until all the details—" "Oh, details!" said Bagman, waving the words away like a cloud of midges. "They've signed, haven't they? They've agreed, haven't they? I bet you anything these kids'll know soon anyway. I mean, it's happening at Hogwarts. Ludo, we need to meet the Bulgarians, you know," said Mr. Crouch sharply, cutting Bagman's remark short. "Thank you for the tea, Weatherby." He pushed his undrugged tea back at Percy and waited for Ludo to rise. Bagman struggled to his feet, swinging at the last of his tea, the gold in his pockets chinking merrily. "See you all later," he said. "You'll be up in the top box with me. I'm commentating." He waved. Barty Crouch nodded curtly, and both of them disapparated. "What's happening at Hogwarts, Dad?" said Fred at once. "What were they talking about?" "You'll find out soon enough," said Mr. Weasley, smiling. "It's classified information until such time as the Ministry decides to release it," said Percy stiffly. "Mr. Crouch was quite right not to disclose it." "Oh, shut up, Weatherby," said Fred. A sense of excitement rose like a palpable cloud over the campsite as the afternoon wore on. By dusk, the still summer air itself seemed to be quivering with anticipation, and as darkness spread like a curtain over the thousands of waiting wizards, the last vestiges of pretense disappeared. The Ministry seemed to have bowed to the inevitable and stopped finding the signs of blatant magic now breaking out everywhere. Salesmen were apparating every few feet, carrying trays and pushing carts full of extraordinary merchandise. There were luminous rosettes, green for Ireland, red for Bulgaria, which were scribbling the name of players, pointed green hats bedecked with dancing shamrocks, Bulgarian scarves adorned with lions that really roared, flags from both countries that played their national anthems as they were waved. There were tiny models of firebolts that really flew, and collectible figures of famous players which strolled across the palm of your hand, preening themselves. "Been saving my pocket money all this summer for this," Ron told Harry as they and Hermione strolled through the salesman, buying souvenirs. Though Ron purchased a dancing shamrock hat and a large green rosette, he also bought a small figure of Victor Crumb, the Bulgarian seeker. The miniature Crumb walked backward and forward over Ron's hand, scowling up at the green rosette above him. "Wow, look at these," said Harry, hurrying over to a cart piled high with what looked like brass binoculars, except that they were covered with all sorts of weird knobs and dials. "Omnioculars," said the sales wizard eagerly. "You can replay action, slow everything down, and they flash up a play-by-play breakdown if you need it. Bargain. 10 galleons each." "Wish I hadn't bought this now," said Ron, gesturing at his dancing shamrock hat and gazing longingly at the omnioculars. "3 pairs," said Harry firmly to the wizard. "No, don't bother," said Ron, going red. He was always... "Thank you, everyone. That's all for today. Bye. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to read page 94. Bye.